Et bienvenue, mes amis, and welcome to another adventure in French. And today's adventure I think you're going to find quite exciting. It is counting in French from 60 to 100. And why is that so fascinating, you might ask? What's the big adventure? Well, I'll tell you. From 0 to 59, the French count in tens, just like we do. That is, once you reach 9, such as 39, then you start over counting by tens again with 40. And then once you reach 49, of course, you start over counting by tens again with 50. But once the French reach 60, they do something that no other language does. They start counting by 20s instead of tens. You heard me right. They start counting by 20s instead of tens. I believe this is a leftover from the old Celtic influence, because I believe the Celts were the ones who counted by 20s. And the French are the only ones that have retained that remnant of the Celtic culture. And it's odd that they wait until 60 to start counting by 20s, but they do. And we have to deal with that. So, what do I mean when I say, well, they count by 20s? Well, it's like this. It's like, say, you start with 60. Let's do it in English. And you go 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69. Now, of course, counting by tens, that means I'd want to go, the next one would be 70. Okay? And we'd start over with 0. But that's not what you do when you count by 20s. Once you reach 69, the next number is simply 6010. And then you would have 6011, 6012, 6013, 6014, 6015, 6016, 6017, 6018, 6019. And once you reach 6019, you finished a round of 20 numbers. All right, well, that's what the French do. Now, they use the same numerals we do, so it's not a matter of using different numbers, but it's the way in which they express those numbers, the words that they use to express them. And it can get a little complicated. It can get a little challenging for those of us who like simply to count by tens. All right? So, as you can see here, the word for 60 in French is soixante. Soixante. This X is going to be pronounced like a Z. All right? So, 60 soixante. 61, soixante et un. We've seen that before, so that's not unusual. Then you're simply going to add on the number to soixante, and we keep going. Soixante-deux, 62, soixante-trois, 63, soixante-quatre, 64, soixante-cinq, 65, soixante-six, 66, soixante-sept, 67, soixante-huit, 68, soixante-neuf, 69. But remember, we're counting by 20s, so we're going to keep going. And the next number is soixante-dix, as you can see right here. Soixante-dix, 60-10, which is written as 70. So the French word for 70 is 60-10, soixante-dix. Then we're just going to continue to count by 20s. So the next number would be soixante et onze, 60 and 11. And 60 and 11 is 71. Then we just keep adding the numbers. Soixante-douze, 60, 12, 72. Soixante-treize, 60, 13, 73. Soixante-quatorze, 60 and 14, 74. Soixante-quinze, 60 and 15, 75. Soixante-seize, 60 and 16, 76. Soixante-dix-sept, 60 and 17, 77. Soixante-dix-huit, 60 and 18, 78. Soixante-dix-neuf, 60 and 19, or 79. All right, you see how it works? And you come up with these incredibly long string of numbers that when you write them out, yeah, that's a little bit of a task, isn't it? Okay, so once we reach soixante-dix-neuf, or 79, we've gone through one round of 20 numbers. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 numbers. So, since we're counting by 20s, now we're going to start over with a new set. So, 80 is 80, or 4 20s. And if you're counting by 20s, that's an excellent number for 80. 4 20s. Notice there's an S on the end of this 20 because it's plural. 4 20s, 80. 80. All right? And now we're just going to, again, keep adding our numbers, and we're going to do a round of 20 again. All right? So the next number is 81. 81. 80 and 1. Now, a couple of interesting things happen with 81. Notice that we are no longer using the word a when we're doing a number that ends in 1. Up until this point, we have 21, 31, 41, 51, 61. And even with 71, 71. But not anymore. Now we're just going to put the number 1 directly on the end, connected by a hyphen like we do the other numbers. The other thing that's interesting here is notice that 80 is plural with an S on the 20 for 80. However, once you add another number onto that, you drop the S. So it's no longer an S here. It's simply 80, no S, 1. All right? Interesting, isn't it? All right. So we have 80, 81 for 81. 82, 82, 80 and 2. 83, 80 and 3, 83. 84, 80 and 4, 84. 85, 80 and 5, 85. 86, 80 and 6, 86. 87, 80 and 7, 87. 88, 80 and 8, 88. 89, 80 and 9, 89. We're counting by 20s, so we're not going to stop there. We're going to continue. And that brings us to 90, 80 and 10, or 90. 91, 80 and 11, 91. 92, 80 and 12, 92. 93, 80 and 13, 93. 94, 80 and 14, 94. 95, 80 and 15, 95. 96, 80 and 16, 96. 97, 80 and 17, 97. 98, 80 and 18, 98. And then 99, 80 and 19, 99. All right? And that's how you count from 60 to 99 in French. You're going to count by 20s instead of 10. Isn't that fascinating? All right? Let's run through those numbers again. We'll just say them in order. You can listen to kind of get the rhythm and the sound of it. Well, let me go. 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99. And the number for 100 is cent. C-E-N-T. Cent. And there you go, 60 to 100, counting by 20s. A very fascinating concept. And as it shows you, culture does make its way into language, and our culture does affect the way that we speak. And I hope you've enjoyed this very fascinating lesson in counting in French. And you know what? I'll see you very shortly for another adventure in French. Au revoir, mes amis.